Sarah had always possessed a heart overflowing with compassion. A gentle spirit drawn to those in need. It wasn't a conscious choice, but rather an intrinsic part of her being, a deep-seated empathy that resonated with the vulnerable and overlooked. This inherent kindness naturally led her to the doors of the local animal shelter, a place she frequented as a volunteer, dedicating her time to comforting and caring for the abandoned and forgotten creatures within its walls. The shelter, a cacophony of barks and meows, was a sanctuary for the lost and lonely. Sarah found solace amidst the chaos, finding purpose in providing a moment of respite, a touch of affection, for animals yearning for a loving home. She walked the rows of kennels, offering a kind word, a gentle scratch behind the ears, a fleeting connection that meant the world to these creatures. She wasn't naive. She understood that not every animal would find its forever home. Some were too old, too sick, too scarred by their past. But Sarah refused to let that deter her. She believed that every animal deserved to feel loved and cared for, even if only for a short time. At it was this belief that fueled her dedication, her unwavering commitment to making a difference, however small, in the lives of these forgotten souls. That it was this very commitment that would lead her to Gus, and the unexpected miracle that awaited them both. It was during one of her regular visits that Sarah first saw Gus. He was tucked away in the quietest corner of the shelter, his kennel slightly separated from the others. Unlike the boisterous barking and playful yapping that echoed through the hallways, Gus remained silent, a stoic figure amidst the lively chaos. He was an elderly golden retriever, his once vibrant coat now faded and tinged with gray, his eyes clouded with a weariness that spoke of a long and difficult life. A small sign hung on his kennel, Gus Hospice Care. Sarah's heart sank. She knew what that meant. Gus was terminally ill, and the shelter was providing him with a safe and comfortable place to spend his final days. She learned from one of the shelter workers that Gus had been diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer, and the vet estimated he had only about a week to live. He'd been found wandering the streets, astray with no microchip and no owner to claim him. Despite his condition, Gus possessed a remarkable gentleness. When Sarah approached his kennel, he didn't bark or jump. Instead, he slowly rose to his feet. His tail giving a weak wag as he pressed his head against the bars, his eyes conveying a quiet plea for affection. Sarah reached through the bars and stroked his soft fur, feeling the fragile bones beneath. In that moment, a profound connection formed between them, a silent understanding that transcended words. Sarah knew, with unwavering certainty, that she couldn't leave Gus to spend his final days alone in the shelter. The decision wasn't easy. Sarah knew she wasn't equipped to handle serious medical emergencies, and the thought of watching Gus deteriorate was terrifying. Her friends cautioned her, reminding her of the emotional toll it would take. But Sarah couldn't shake the image of Gus alone in his kennel, his eyes filled with a quiet sadness. She knew, deep in her heart, that she had to do it. So, the next day, Sarah filled out the adoption papers, her hand trembling slightly as she signed her name. The shelter staff were touched by her compassion, offering their support and sharing tips on how to make Gus comfortable. They warned her not to expect much, reminding her that his time was limited. But Sarah was undeterred. She wasn't focused on the inevitable. She was focused on making Gus's remaining days as comfortable and loving as possible. Her motivation was simple: to offer Gus a haven, a place where he could feel safe, cherished, and free from pain. She wanted him to experience the simple joys of life: a warm bed, a gentle touch, a full belly, before he crossed the Rainbow Bridge. She envisioned cozy evenings spent cuddling on the couch, slow walks in the park, and endless words of love and reassurance. It wasn't about extending his life. It was about enriching it, filling it with moments of joy and connection that would ease his passage and let him know he wasn't forgotten. She wanted to give him one final, beautiful week of love. The first day Gus came home, he seemed hesitant, unsure of his new surroundings. Sarah had prepared a cozy corner for him in her living room, complete with a soft, plush bed and a collection of his favorite toys from the shelter. She spoke to him in soothing tones, reassuring him that he was safe and loved. Slowly, Gus began to relax, his body language softening as he took in the familiar scents of his toys. Their days fell into a gentle rhythm. Each morning, Sarah would wake up early to take Gus for a short walk in the nearby park. He couldn't walk far, his legs weak and unsteady, but he seemed to relish the fresh air and the warmth of the sun on his fur. They'd stop frequently, allowing Gus to sniff the flowers and watch the birds. Sarah would sit beside him on the grass, stroking his head and whispering words of encouragement. Back at home, Sarah would prepare special meals for Gus, carefully selecting foods that were easy to digest and appealing to his sensitive palate. She'd sit beside him as he ate, offering gentle encouragement and wiping his chin with a soft cloth. In the afternoons, they'd curl up together on the couch, Sarah reading aloud while Gus rested his head on her lap, his breathing slow and steady. Evenings were spent in quiet companionship, Sarah gently brushing Gus's fur and sharing stories about her day. Each moment was precious, a testament to the love and connection they shared. Sarah was determined to make every second count, filling Gus's final days with warmth, comfort, and unwavering affection. As the anticipated end of the week drew near, Sarah found herself clinging to every moment, her heart aching with a bittersweet mix of love and sorrow. She spent hours simply watching Gus, memorizing the way his fur felt beneath her fingers, the gentle rise and fall of his chest as he slept, the soft, trusting gaze in his eyes. She took countless photos, wanting to preserve every detail of their time together. Then, something unexpected began to happen on what was supposed to be Gus's last day. Sarah noticed a subtle but undeniable change in his demeanor. He seemed brighter, he greeted her with a more enthusiastic tail wag than he had in days, and his eyes held a spark of alertness that had been missing before. During their morning walk, he actually pulled slightly on the leash, eager to explore the park. Sarah initially dismissed it as wishful thinking, a desperate attempt to deny the inevitable, but as the day wore on, the changes became more pronounced. Gus ate his meals with gusto, finishing every last morsel. He played with his toys, batting them around with surprising energy. He even barked playfully at a squirrel in the backyard, a sound Sarah hadn't heard him make since she brought him home. Could it be possible? Was Gus actually getting better? She tried to temper her hope, reminding herself of the vet's diagnosis. But deep down, a flicker of possibility ignited within her, a fragile ember of hope in the face of despair. The following morning, Sarah decided she couldn't ignore the changes any longer. She knew it was a long shot, but she had to take Gus to the vet. She called the clinic, explaining the situation and her observations. The receptionist, initially skeptical, agreed to squeeze them in for a quick checkup. The waiting room felt like an eternity. Sarah held Gus close, stroking his fur and whispering words of comfort. She tried to prepare herself for the worst, reminding herself that the vet would likely confirm her fears. But a part of her, a tiny, fragile part, dared to hope for a different outcome. When Dr. Evans finally called them in, she greeted Sarah with a warm smile, but her expression quickly turned to concern as she examined Gus. She ran her hands over his body, palpating his lymph nodes and listening to his heart and lungs. "He certainly seems more alert than he did last week," she commented, a hint of surprise in her voice. After a thorough examination, Dr. Evans ordered a new set of blood tests and scans, explaining that she wanted to get a clearer picture of what was going on. Sarah waited anxiously, pacing the floor of the waiting room while Gus rested comfortably in his carrier. Finally, Dr. Evans returned, her face etched with a mixture of disbelief and cautious optimism. "Sarah?" she began, her voice barely above a whisper. "The results are remarkable," Dr. Evans explained, her voice filled with cautious wonder, that the scans showed a significant reduction in the size of the tumors. The blood tests, too, revealed a dramatic improvement in Gus's overall health. "The cancer appears to be in remission," she declared, her eyes wide with disbelief. "I honestly can't explain it." Sarah was speechless, tears welling up in her eyes. Remission? It seemed impossible, a miracle defying all logic and medical understanding. She had gone to the vet expecting to hear that Gus's condition was worsening, preparing herself for the inevitable heartbreak. Instead, she was being told that he was getting better, that he might actually have a chance at a longer life. Dr. Evans cautioned that it was still too early to celebrate. Remission didn't necessarily mean a cure, and there was always a chance the cancer could return. She admitted she couldn't definitively explain what had caused such a dramatic turnaround. Perhaps the initial diagnosis was inaccurate, although she found that unlikely given the evidence. Maybe Gus was responding to some unknown factor in his new environment, or perhaps it was simply a rare and spontaneous remission, a medical anomaly. The scientific reasons mattered less to Sarah than the simple, undeniable truth. Gus was getting better. The how was secondary to the is. She hugged Gus tightly, burying her face in his fur, overwhelmed with gratitude and joy, whatever the explanation. She was determined to cherish every moment of this unexpected gift. Back at home, Sarah watched Gus with a renewed sense of wonder. Each day brought further improvements. His appetite increased, his walks grew longer, and his playful spirit blossomed. He chased squirrels in the yard with youthful exuberance. His tail wagging furiously, he greeted Sarah at the door with enthusiastic barks and playful nips, his eyes shining with joy. The change was so profound that even Dr. Evans struggled to comprehend it. She consulted with specialists, reviewed Gus's medical history, and pored over scientific literature, searching for an explanation. While she couldn't rule out the possibility of a misdiagnosis, perhaps the initial tests had been misinterpreted, or the cancer had been caught in its earliest stages, she found the rapid and complete remission highly improbable. Other possibilities were considered: a rare reaction to a medication Gus had been given at the shelter, an undiscovered environmental factor in Sarah's home, or a unique immunological response triggered by the change in Gus's living situation. But none of these theories fully explained the miracle that was unfolding before their eyes. Ultimately, Dr. Evans had to admit that Gus's case was a medical mystery, an anomaly that defied conventional understanding. She cautioned Sarah to remain vigilant, to continue monitoring Gus for any signs of relapse, but she also encouraged her to embrace the present and celebrate the extraordinary gift they had been given. The focus remained on the emotional and tangible reality of Gus's improved health, not the elusive scientific explanation. Sarah, content to simply revel in Gus's well-being, did just that. Gus's transformation was nothing short of remarkable. The frail, lethargic dog Sarah had brought home from the shelter was gradually replaced by a vibrant, energetic companion. His coat regained its golden sheen, his eyes sparkled with renewed vitality, and his once feeble gait became strong and confident. Their walks evolved from slow, tentative strolls to brisk explorations of the neighborhood. Gus would trot ahead, his nose twitching as he investigated every scent, his tail wagging a joyful rhythm. He rediscovered the simple pleasures of life, chasing butterflies in the park, digging in the garden, and greeting other dogs with playful enthusiasm. Inside the house, Gus became more interactive, seeking out Sarah's attention with gentle nudges and playful barks. He'd follow her from room to room, his presence a constant source of comfort and companionship. He'd snuggle up beside her on the couch, his head resting on her lap, his body radiating warmth and contentment. Sarah delighted in Gus's newfound energy and zest for life. She bought him new toys, took him on car rides to the beach, and enrolled him in obedience classes, where he surprised everyone with his intelligence and eagerness to learn. It was as if Gus was making up for lost time, embracing every opportunity to experience the joys of being a dog. The terminal diagnosis seemed like a distant memory, a faded nightmare replaced by a vibrant and hopeful reality. As Gus's health improved, so too did the bond between him and Sarah. What had begun as an act of compassion, a selfless gesture to provide comfort in his final days, blossomed into a deep and abiding love. The grief that had initially shadowed their time together began to dissipate, replaced by an overwhelming sense of joy and gratitude. Sarah found herself talking to Gus constantly, sharing her thoughts, her dreams, and her fears. He, in turn, listened patiently, his eyes filled with understanding and unwavering support. He seemed to sense her moods, offering a comforting presence whenever she felt down or overwhelmed. Their connection transcended words. A simple touch, a shared glance, a quiet moment of companionship, these were the things that truly defined their relationship. They understood each other on a level that few people ever experience, a silent understanding born of shared vulnerability and unwavering love. Gus's miraculous recovery transformed Sarah's life in profound ways. The experience taught her the importance of living in the present, of cherishing every moment, and of embracing the unexpected joys that life has to offer. It deepened her compassion, strengthened her resolve, and filled her heart with an overflowing sense of gratitude. She realized that she had set out to give Gus a loving end, but he had ended up giving her so much more, a renewed sense of purpose, a deeper understanding of love, and a miracle that would forever change her life. The news of Gus's miraculous recovery spread like wildfire, first through the animal shelter and then throughout the entire community. The shelter staff, who had initially prepared themselves for Gus's passing, were overjoyed by his turnaround. They shared his story with everyone who walked through the doors, inspiring hope and reminding people that even in the darkest of circumstances, miracles can happen. Word of Gus's recovery reached the local newspaper, which published an article about his incredible journey. The story touched the hearts of countless readers, reminding them of the power of love, compassion, and the unwavering bond between humans and animals. People from all walks of life reached out to Sarah, offering their congratulations and sharing their own stories of hope and healing. Gus became a local celebrity, a symbol of resilience and the triumph of the spirit. People would stop Sarah on the street to admire him, to hear his story, and to express their admiration for her kindness and dedication. Children would bring him treats and toys, their eyes wide with wonder at the miracle dog. The story of Gus's recovery served as a powerful reminder that even senior and special needs animals deserve a chance at love and happiness. It inspired many people to consider adopting older pets, to open their hearts and homes to animals who might otherwise be overlooked. Gus's legacy extended far beyond his own personal journey, touching the lives of countless others and leaving an indelible mark on the community. Inspired by Gus's story and the outpouring of support from the community, Sarah felt a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that she could use her experience to advocate for senior and special needs animals, to be a voice for those who are often overlooked and forgotten. She started by volunteering even more of her time at the animal shelter, focusing on providing extra care and attention to the older and more vulnerable animals. She organized fundraising events to support the shelter's hospice program, ensuring that other animals like Gus would have a comfortable and dignified place to spend their final days. Sarah also became an active advocate for senior pet adoption, sharing Gus's story at community events and online. She emphasized the unique rewards of adopting an older animal, highlighting their gentle nature, their unwavering loyalty, and the profound love they have to offer. She countered the common misconceptions about senior pets, dispelling the myth that they are too old to learn new tricks or too set in their ways to adapt to a new home she created. A website and social media pages dedicated to senior pet adoption, sharing photos and stories of animals in need of loving homes. She offered advice and support to new adopters, helping them navigate the challenges of caring for an older pet. Sarah became a beacon of hope for senior animals, a testament to the transformative power of love and compassion. She showed the world that even the most forgotten creatures deserve a chance at happiness and that sometimes the greatest miracles come in the most unexpected packages. Years passed, and Gus continued to defy all expectations. The 1 week he was given turned into months, then years, filled with joy, laughter, and countless precious memories. Sarah celebrated each milestone, each birthday, each holiday, with a profound sense of gratitude. There were Christmases spent gathered around the fireplace, Gus sporting a festive red bandana, patiently waiting for a stray crumb to fall from the table. There were summer vacations at the beach, Gus splashing in the waves, his tail wagging furiously as Sarah tossed a ball into the surf. There were quiet evenings spent cuddling on the couch, Sarah reading aloud while Gus snored softly beside her, his presence a constant source of comfort and companionship. Sarah documented their life together, filling photo albums and creating digital scrapbooks filled with memories of their adventures. She captured Gus's playful antics, his quiet moments of contemplation, and the unwavering love that shone in his eyes. Each photo was a testament to the miracle that had unfolded, a reminder of the extraordinary bond they shared. Gus, despite his age, remained remarkably healthy and active. He continued to enjoy his daily walks, his playful games, and his endless supply of treats. He became a beloved member of the community, recognized and adored by everyone who crossed his path. He was a living testament to the power of hope, the resilience of the spirit, and the transformative magic of love. The miracle of Gus continued day after day, year after year, enriching Sarah's life in ways she could never have imagined. Looking back on their journey, Sarah often reflected on the profound impact Gus had had on her life. She had initially set out to give him a loving and comfortable end, to ease his passage and ensure that he didn't die alone and forgotten. But in reality, Gus had given her so much more. He had taught her the true meaning of resilience, demonstrating that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, hope can still bloom. He had shown her the power of connection, the profound bond that can exist between humans and animals, a bond that transcends words and touches the very depths of the soul. Gus had reminded her that miracles are possible, that even when all seems lost, unexpected joy can still emerge. He had taught her to live in the present, to cherish every moment, and to embrace the unexpected twists and turns that life throws our way. Most importantly, Gus had shown her the transformative power of opening her heart, of embracing vulnerability, and of extending compassion to those in need. She had learned that sometimes, the greatest rewards come from the most selfless acts, and that even the smallest act of kindness can have a profound and lasting impact. Sarah realized that adopting Gus was the best decision she had ever made. He had not only enriched her life in countless ways but had also inspired her to become a better person, a more compassionate advocate, and a more grateful recipient of life's unexpected blessings. Years later, Sarah and Gus could still be found together, enjoying each other's company as much as they ever had. Gus, now a very senior dog with a muzzle dusted with white, moved a little slower, but his eyes still sparkled with the same unwavering love and joy. Sarah, her hair streaked with silver, still cherished every moment they spent together, her heart overflowing with gratitude for the miracle that had brought them together. They sat side by side on a park bench, watching the world go by. Gus rested his head on Sarah's lap, his breathing slow and steady. Sarah gently stroked his fur, her fingers tracing the familiar contours of his body. The air was filled with the sounds of children playing, birds singing, and the gentle rustling of leaves in the trees. A young girl approached them, her eyes wide with admiration. "He's so old," she exclaimed, pointing at Gus. Sarah smiled. "Yes, he is," she replied. "But he's also the most wonderful dog in the world." The girl giggled and reached out to pet Gus. He wagged his tail weakly, accepting her affection with quiet dignity as the sun began to set. Casting a warm golden glow over the park, Sarah and Gus rose to their feet and began the slow walk home. They moved at a leisurely pace, savoring the simple pleasure of being together, their bond as strong and enduring as ever. Their unexpected journey had been filled with challenges and uncertainties, but it had also been filled with love, hope, and the unwavering belief that miracles can happen when you open your heart. Sarah's story, and Gus's incredible journey, serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of opening our hearts to senior pets. They may not have the boundless energy of a puppy or the pristine health of a younger animal, but they possess a wisdom, a gentleness, and an unwavering capacity for love that is truly unmatched. These animals, often overlooked and forgotten in shelters, have so much to offer. They have lived through hardships, they have learned valuable lessons, and they are ready to share their wisdom and their love with someone who is willing to give them a chance. Adopting a senior pet is not just an act of compassion. It is an opportunity to experience the profound rewards of unconditional love. It is a chance to make a difference in the life of an animal who truly needs it, and to receive in return a love that is pure, unwavering, and deeply transformative. So, the next time you are considering adding a pet to your family, please consider adopting a senior animal. You may not know how much time you will have together, but the love you share will be immeasurable. You may not be able to change their past, but you can certainly shape their future. And who knows, you might just discover that the greatest miracles come in the most unexpected packages, wrapped in fur and filled with love. Let Gus and Sarah's story inspire you to open your heart and home, reminding you that every animal deserves a chance to experience the joy of love and belonging, and that sometimes all it takes is a little bit of compassion to create a miracle.